3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce, get out your ledger and pull the contract. Stake for 10 years, that's how we stack. See my post chain, see my Cadillac, it's the job. We don't know where it's at. 3650, 3650. 3650, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce, 3650 squad, we square jobs, make a check game. The secret sauce.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host with the most, LA. LA, how are you?
What's up, Embers?
Alright, awesome. And fellow team member, I always forget to say that too. LA's been killing it in the marketing department. We have had an AMA today, we had an AMA yesterday, we've had about 4 AMAs the last 4 days or so with other influencers. So today was DeFi Dojo. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that, it is recorded on Twitter or X. It was an X space. We had some technical difficulties. The first 5 minutes are part of part 1, and then they restarted in part 2. But everything you need to know is in part 2, really, and another great AMA. So the AMA train continues to roll on, right, LA?
Yeah, really good turnout. I think we had over 150 people listening, so that was a great one.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a great turnout with DeFi Dojo, and some great info. Again, talking all about Spark and what we have coming. So, with that, we've been in meetings all day, and again, talking for most of the day. So, we're going to try to keep this AMA short and sweet. I'll let LA chime in too to give my voice a rest. But we're another week of building ahead. Again, February is always already starting super bullish. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of a pullback on PLS, which therefore there's a pullback on Spark. But all things considered, volume is extremely healthy. Over the weekend, we had $1 million in volume on one day, so everything is shaping up. And we'll start there. We'll start with some Sparkswap updates. So moving right into it. The migration was a huge success. So all of you, again, we've been giving you weeks of heads up. It's funny, some people that don't pay attention come into Telegram and say, why didn't we have a heads up about the migration? But they don't bother to listen to the AMAs that we do twice a week. So we had given plenty of heads up. Again, the worst case scenario, you missed out on maybe a couple of hours of emissions. But even that, I mean, no additional fees. Everything was super smooth and, exactly as we expected it. And, now that this migration is complete, we're putting on the finishing touches for our vault. So, LA, we had a dev meeting today. Again, without giving away too much alpha, pretty bullish, huh?
Super bullish, yes. And we're getting really close, so it's
For
good
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully have an update on the vaults going live directly. Again, we'll give you a heads up so you can prepare. And if you are still having trouble with the migration, I was gonna do a screen share, but really 95% of you have already migrated over. So we migrated about $7 million within the first 24 hours without any issues whatsoever. So if you refresh or hard refresh your page, the pop-up should re-pop up, and then anything left that hasn't been migrated will it'll prompt you again. So also, if you can't find any of your LPs, there are, there's only two other places they could be. They're either in your wallet, or and then you can manually deposit them, or the migration hasn't actually been complete, and you need to refresh and do the prompts all over again. So, LA, I know you've been fielding a lot of questions. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so it can be a little confusing because sometimes you'll go through the steps and you'll complete some of them, but you don't actually realize that you haven't completed it for every single farm. And so you'll be wondering where some of your LPs are. And maybe you've unstaked, but you haven't staked. And so there's a few options of what could go wrong. But AJ just said it. If there's any of your LPs that you can't find or they haven't been deposited into a farm, there's really only two options. Either it's sitting in your wallet or it hasn't unstaked yet. And the only way to unstake it is through the pop up. So simply refresh or hard refresh to get the pop up to come back up. And then you'll be able to go through the migration process once again and unstake them in order to complete that.
Perfect. Yeah. And again, if you're not getting a pop-up, then that means you've done it and you don't have to worry about anything. Or if you're new to Spark, you will not receive the pop-up. So, and there is no circumstance. I know this was some other confusion. There is literally no circumstance in which the migration will unpair your LP for you. So please be aware that the LP is either in your wallet, or like LA said, you actually never did the migration to begin with. So, and please start using Ravi. I think we've been seeing a lot less issues with gas. That's another thing with those transactions. You got to bump up the gas, right, LA? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that last thing. I was communicating with someone on Discord today who had one additional issue. He just simply couldn't get his transactions to go through while he was migrating. And it's not a SparkSwap specific issue. It's just that he was trying to do it while there is a massive spike in the gas. And if you go onto gopulse.com, you can actually see a chart or a graph of what's going on with the gas at that time. And if you do it when it's massively spiked up, it means there's an extreme amount of network activity at that time. And there's a lot of people competing all at the same time for their transactions to go through. And so you are going to have difficulty. And so you'll either have to really, really top up your gas, or you'll have to simply wait for a time when it's not so spiked. So it's good practice to keep that website in mind when you know you're going to have like something like a migration going on where you're going to have 8 or 10 transactions, because if you are competing against all those people to get your transactions to go through, it can be really frustrating if you're doing it at an exact moment when everything's so spiked, and not only is it more expensive, but it's just hard to get them to go through.
Yeah, 100%. So, and if you are having any other additional issues, we're always in the Telegram or Discord to help. Just please never respond to any DMs. Again, we will absolutely never ask you to connect to a separate website, or, update your wallet address with, or give us your seed phrase. I mean, the list goes on and on. But typically during a migration like this, it's an attack vector for the scammers. Even though, again, we've never had any exploits, human error is unfortunately, an issue for sure. So just if it sounds fishy, it probably is. Never, ever, ever connect to another website other than Spark. And we would never, under any circumstances, ask for your private key or for you to connect to a help desk or anything like that. So yeah, again, LA, I don't know if you want to add to that, but we've had a resurgence of scammers.
Yeah, when they see that there's like a major announcement, that's when they really pounce. And so, just not only will we continue to remind you, but please, as an emperor or as a Sparky, please do your part in helping to continue to remind your fellow community members on the best practices in regards to how to keep each other safe. And that means, adjusting your Telegram settings so that no one can call you or add you to groups without your permission. It means not answering random DMs, even if it looks like it's coming from a team member or an admin. It means paying attention to the labels on chat bubbles to make sure that if someone's messaging you, it's a legit administrator or team member that you're seeking advice from. It means not clicking on random links and never connecting your wallet unless you were 100% sure of what that website is that you're connecting to, stuff like that. Helping each other to remember those things and spreading those safety precautions so that we can all stay safe.
Yep, 100%. All right, so just to reiterate again, the volume has been insane. Over the weekend, we had close to $1 million day in terms of overall volume. And even now, we're at 500 to 600K in daily volume consistently. And that number should only continue to grow with the vaults and everything else that we have coming. Another really incredible metric that I posted about last night, we are the top 6 most liquid token on Pulse Chain. That's incredible. Again, between the PLS and SDI liquidity, Spark has about $2.5 million of liquidity bonding it, which is, again, for those that know, liquidity is king. And, when Pulse really starts to run, that could be, 2 to 4 to 10 to $20 million of liquidity on Spark, which not only is that healthy for the in and out flow, but whales have a lot easier time getting into Spark because of the price impact, and those that do sell, it really it doesn't affect the chart as hard because there's so much liquidity that people could sell into. So, and speaking of that, those that have staked in Sparkler rather than selling Spark have seen some great payouts over the week as well. So, again, remember, Sparkler is the secret sauce. And I know even people that have just staked within the last month, they've already gotten about a 10% ROI. And just think about that. In the next few months, they'll be completely ROI'd, and then they have 9 whole years, or 9.5 years, to earn from protocol fees. So again, if you're not utilizing Sparkler, you're doing it wrong. So, all right, LA, you want to talk a little bit about the what we're rolling out to potential bridge partners? I need to grab a drink and then I'll follow up. Just give me 1 minute if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So if you are someone who has a strong relationship with a team member or moderator of a project on PLS, and you think that that project would benefit from having a direct link to our bridge on their website, we are we would love to chat with them. And so if you want to facilitate a meeting with them, and you have a personal relationship with them, that would be absolutely incredible. We're going to start pitching and speaking to more of these projects. It is a huge benefit to them because it can help bring more volume to their project if they're able to more easily onboard people directly to Pulse Chain from other chains, being that they're able to get right into PLS. And there's not other great bridging options. And so it's great for their community to have a cheap, fast, and safe option for bridging. There's many benefits. And so this does not actually mean that we're going to host a farm and allocate emissions to their tokens. It's simply a tab or a button on their website where they're going to be able to, it's going to say bridge, and they're going to bridge directly from our site. AJ can clarify kind of further
Yeah,
on this.
perfect. Thank you, LA. Sorry, I threw you to the wolves there, but so yeah, 100%. LA explained it perfectly. I mean, we're really trying to engage other communities on Pulse and offer them a better solution than the native Ethereum bridge or a very expensive option like going to Simple Swap or Pulse LN, where the price impact can be huge and you're paying high fees. So yeah, again, I don't want you guys to spam. Again, please be very respectful. We don't need to hard sell anybody. But this is proven to be an incredible partnership opportunity, not only for us, but for the partner protocol utilizing the bridge as well. And a perfect example of that is Warren. I mean, obviously, we're sad how that ended, but we can't argue with the amount of volume that went through the bridge because of Warren. So again, whether it's an NFT project or any other you know DeFi protocol or meme token, really anything, and it allows you to onboard funds from BNB or Arbitrum to that project, and ultimately onboard funds to Pulse as a whole. That's a win-win for all of us. So, and there is a bounty program. So, if for whatever reason, it does work out, we can definitely send you some marketing funds to compensate. So just find out, and really, the true value is in the co-marketing. So, obviously, we have to do some due diligence, make sure it's not a scam project, but it will help get more eyeballs on your project as well. So, and we already have a few in the pipeline. Some really respected Pulse projects have started to want to work with us, and so the first step in that is adding the bridge. And we do have future plans too of actually creating a widget where you can integrate the bridge directly into your protocol and even potentially earn a share of the revenue that the bridge produces. And that again is even more incentive for not only you as a protocol owner, but for us because we're getting more volume. So we have a ton in the works, and as well as some more alpha working with aggregators, not only for our decks, but for the bridge as well. So again, really exciting stuff as we continue to build and create more awareness and adoption of our bridge. Anything you want to add to that, Ella? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple things I want to add. Um, a huge incentive to helping out with this is obviously a reminder that the more volume we bring to the bridge means more juicy sparkler rewards. And so,
For sure.
one small conversation could mean thousands more dollars per month going into Sparkler to reward all of the stakers. So that could be huge. But secondly, I just did want to mention this very briefly. We're not encouraging anyone to go out and spam anyone. So we really do want this to be only if you have a relationship with a project and you know that it's a legit project. It's not going to be a scam or a rug, and it's going to be someone that's worthwhile speaking to, and you can facilitate that, because we don't in any way want to come across in a spammy way.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And again, we'll be doing our own due diligence as well. So even if you bring it to us, please be respectful if we decide not to go forward with that particular project. But again, I mean, another two or three bridge partners in the next month, and that could double or triple the bridge volume alone. And again, just to reiterate, it's a win-win for everybody because we get more volume and that project gets more users and a very easy way to onboard fresh capital again, without having to go through the native bridge, the high gas fees on ETH, the high fees on other bridging platforms. So again, it's a great product market fit on top of all. So all right, awesome. I think we talked enough about that. Moving, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Just a small break to mention, please like the stream. We don't have nearly enough likes at the moment, so pound that like button, guys.
Thank you, LA. Yes, again, I'm so bad at my job. I didn't even say that in the beginning tonight. So yeah, LA's got me covered. Yes, like, comment, and subscribe. All right. All right. So moving on to power-ups. Again, I know we've been getting a ton of questions about power-ups and Sentinels. We'll talk about that next. But power-ups, there's been a lot of questions regarding power-ups this week. Power-ups are still being paid out on a weekly basis. Again, we've been a bit behind just with everything going on. But every week, even if for whatever reason the rewards don't go out on the exact day they should be, they are still accumulating. So, as well as Sentinel, which we'll talk about in a second. But just a reminder that, you know, uh, the earned rewards are distributed to power holders through an investment that was made in the entire EMP ecosystem. So that's where the yield comes from. Again, it didn't go to our pockets. It didn't go to development funds. It was essentially a group allocation into EMP as a whole, and that's how rewards are generated. So when EMP as an ecosystem is down, then payouts will be down. But when EMP recovers, especially through EMP fusion, we could see power up payouts absolutely skyrocket. Again, that's not a promise, that's not a call to invest, that's not financial advice, but it's just the reality of how those rewards are actually generated. So please be aware of that. The with the halvening, emissions have been lower now too, so that also has a factor in it. But when the recovery happens, then we feel those will absolutely start booming again. And we're not going anywhere. Those power ups will be paying out for the foreseeable future. So just remember all those different uh, factors when it comes to whether or not you want to continue to hold them. So, Ella, you want to add anything to that before we talk about Sentinels?
Yeah, I think that everyone forgets when it comes to power ups, Sentinels, detonator defenders, even detonator contracts, um, that they're very highly dependent on what's going on with the ecosystem at that moment. But it's been a while since we've all been earning that consistent crazy income that we did at the beginning, and so it's hard to remember what it was like when things were really booming and we were over peg every day and all that stuff. But um, these are all contracts that, power up, Sentinels, defenders, the detonator contracts. These are all contracts that you enter into with a long term mindset. And once you invest in it one time, you have created long term passive income for yourself. And any time that you invest with a long term plan, there's going to be ups and downs, peaks and valleys, but the beauty of it is that we have such a solid plan with Fusion of how to get this ecosystem absolutely booming again. But not only that, how to sustain it. And so um, the beauty of this is that all of that affects these different contracts. And even if the payouts are low right now, they are all still paying out. They all have been paying out. And we can expect that as the ecosystem improves, so will the payouts on each of these contracts.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like Ella said, it's about the long term. I haven't done the math. I'd love to know if somebody has a spreadsheet. Maybe we can look at some on-chain data. But I would venture to say that, even though the payouts have been fairly reduced lately, if you accumulate all the payouts we've done through power-ups, I'd say that you've definitely ROI'd on the original price of the NFT. So again, it may not be the most sexy APR, but you can guarantee that we're not going anywhere, that we're not rugging, that we're not disappearing, and that, you can count on that residual passive income for as long as the protocol is alive. So, yeah, and again, we have had some issues with the bridging because they are rewarding users on Ethereum. We talked about this a while ago. The original bridge solution we were using wasn't working. Actually, was hacked. So we've been trying to get a new automatic version that we can trust. Again, we've been trying to work with Stargate and their API, obviously, with L1X and L1 DEX. Utilizing that infrastructure would be ideal for seamless bridging and being able to automate this in a smart contract. So right now we're still having to facilitate manually. The contract itself is fully decentralized and rewards are accumulated completely hands off, but the actual payout is still quite a process. So it's not because we don't want to pay out or we're purposely delaying. It's because the act of getting it over to ETH is a real pain in the ass. So we're working on solutions and appreciate everybody's patience in regards to POW'r UP. So, all right. Again, LA, anything you want to add to that before we move on to Sentinels?
Nope.
All right, and then last but not least, Sentinels. Again, for those that don't know, we had to make a very abrupt pivot with Sentinels as MDB essentially is no longer. We had zero heads up on this and found out the day that all of you found out. So unfortunately, we had no lead time to alter the contract. And obviously, that original contract rewards eShare and MDB. Well, without MDB, we have to reward another token, and the actual LP that is generated is eShare BNB. So we want to just reward eShare BNB now. However, because of this, it requires us to rewrite the contract. So we're still working on it. It is moving up the priority list. Again, we've got more help now both with Spark and Fusion. So it is top priority. They are still collecting rewards. So when we do have this figured out, there will be a massive payout for all the weeks that you're owed. But right now we're just trying to make it work and then get it going. So again, once everything is unpaused and we have the new distribution contract, all that you've been accumulating the entire time will come back to you. And again, not financial advice, but it might be a good opportunity to buy some Sentinels while people are thinking, it's over and don't pay attention to the ecosystem. So, again, LA, anything you want to add? Obviously, we can't really give a time frame, but it is up very high up on the priority list.
You nailed it. So I don't really have anything to add there.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, again, everything we do, we never abandon parts of the protocol. We just have to make it work with what we're building and what we're moving towards the future. So, all right, I think that's really it. Again, today was super short and sweet. Not a lot of updates. Obviously, Fusion is still underway. We'll hopefully have some more updates on that next week. Again, everything behind the scenes is working incredibly well. Sparkswap is killing it. We have the vaults coming, and we even have another really bullish product in the pipeline for after vaults. So again, there's never a dull moment at Sparkswap, and when you think we are finished, we have 10 more things on the way. So for the hype and the utility of Spark, there's nothing, no better news than continuing to build the ecosystem out. So hopefully you all are as excited as we are. But all right, LA, any final words or any questions that you want to go over before we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's hop into some questions from Discord.
All right.
There's a couple here. So the first one, with another month in the books, what was the return the master trader achieved with the funds backing the EMP bonds?
Yes, so this is a great question. Obviously, we're still in some open trades, and again with the holidays, a lot of traders take some time. It's not uncommon to see the volume really die down over the holidays. But Brian is back at it. We're hopefully have Brian on for an update. I'm working on that now. And like I was saying, we don't really until all of the trades are actually closed. It's hard to put a percentage on the returns, but we are trying to get better about monthly reports in terms of the fund. As far as I know, and based on everything I've seen, the fund is still very healthy, and at the very least, especially in terms of bonds, as it sits right this minute, we have enough in our insurance fund to pay out the principal and profit on all the bonds, even now. So again, I don't want anybody to panic or be concerned that the bonds will not be fulfilled. That is again number one priority, and then anything above and beyond that, helps us scale and grow with our treasury. So we'll hopefully get some updates from Brian directly in the next few weeks. But as far as the bonds, everything is very healthy. And remember, you can still buy bonds off the market. So LA can post the link. Those NFTs are available for sale, and you get the prorated return. So I think we're about 5 months in, something like that. So you would earn for the next 6 months or so on that daily return. So yeah, again, LA, anything I missed on that, or you want me to clarify?
Sorry, I'm just typing the website. 1 second. I made a typo the first time.
Yep, no worries. There you go.
There we go. Sorry, typo. Not emo bonds.
Yeah, that'll be our next raise. It'll be my face
They're all
with
like they're all
Marilyn.
like rock characters
Yeah, I was gonna say
with
with the Marilyn
black.
Manson hair. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, we have too much fun.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
only thing I'll add is that we're monitoring it every single week. We're super on top of things, and even though there's always funds in active trades, there's always enough that we can view that is enough to cover not only the principal but the interest of the bonds in that insurance fund. And so anything that's being traded is above and beyond that. So
for sure.
that's kind of all we need to report on that.
Yep, 100%. And again, the health of the bonds is number one priority. So, all right, awesome. Any other questions?
Yes, your favorite.
All
So
right.
seems like we need to do our monthly detonator rant.
Oh man, here we go. All right, so
So
yeah, go ahead.
so why is the claimed amount from detonator going to the fusion sacrifice automatically? And how is one to ROI with this with it being this way?
All right, so yeah, I'll kind of give a high level overview, and then LA, you can chime in as well. But the whole point with the detonator or DOS contracts is that we are eliminating the bleeding, so to speak. So right now, the only way to profit is to claim and unpair your LP and sell. So unfortunately, 99% of people involved, that's what they do, and that just further puts even more downward pressure on the price, on the ecosystem, on the contract balance, on people's spirits, you name it. So again, sorry for the background noise, but the idea is that we are transitioning into a completely new model with fusion, and with that the DOS contracts will also be having a change to really spearhead sustainability. And the contracts themselves they really are not flawed. The issue is that there's more claiming than deposits, and no matter how perfect a contract is, if there's more claiming than deposits, it will, eventually drain. And so the idea is that not only are we applying all of the claims to Fusion, which I'll clarify in a minute, but we're also updating the claiming structure that if you claim more than twice a week, again, that 6-2 or 5-1 strategy that we've preached from the beginning, you will be progressively taxed. So those of you that are claiming every day, on that seventh day, you get hit 100%. So you're really only able to claim 6 days a week, and meanwhile you get hit harder and harder for doing so, and then those taxes go right back into the pool balance. So that is the V3 update with Detonator, and by eliminating the ability to outright claim the LP, break it, and sell it, your claim is going right into Fusion to build your microgrid. And even if you are, you hate EMP, you want to get out, you're mad at everybody, you can still take profit again from claiming out of Fusion, or selling your microgrid that you have built up with the claims from the DOS contracts. So nobody is being handcuffed, nobody is being locked out. Yes, there's a few more steps involved to profit, but everybody gets the profit. And again, this is not a profit. I mean, this is not a promise that you will, be made whole. It's really just something that we can do to help revitalize the contract, give as much new life into Detonator as we can, and all DOS products. And this is the best solution that we've come up with to make it happen. And if or not, not if, but when the ecosystem fully recovers, those of you that have been in Detonator and Reactor should see a substantial increase in rewards because the ecosystem has fully recovered. So again, now and always, those contracts have been very speculative. It's not a promise that you're gonna, ROI, but we're doing everything we possibly can to resurrect those contracts. So again, LA, I don't know if you want to add to that. I try
I
to,
do.
all right, go ahead. I try to be as objective as possible, but it's definitely something that we get asked, every day.
Yeah, I do. So I didn't read the entire question. I gave a synopsis because it was written from kind of a negative energy, and we all know I love positivity. But the energy of it is, I just want to claim and at the very least ROI because Detonator sucks at the moment. Now, I want you to understand if everyone or a large majority of people were to feel that way, the only thing that you're going to accomplish with that energy is killing Detonator. You're going to just claim it until it's empty and it's going to die. And then, of course, you're never going to 365 because you've killed it, right? If you buy an expensive plant and then you never water it or give it any sunlight, you're going to kill it, right? You got to give it what it needs. So I want you to understand that we are not considering Detonator contracts anywhere near dead. We're planning for an ecosystem that's going to be around not only another year, not only another 2 years, another 10 years. And everything we're building is focused around sustainability and lasting power, durability, whatever word you want to use that's a synonym to that. But again, I'm going to say this and remind you of what I said earlier. It's easy to forget what it's like to be earning really well when it's been a while that the emissions and APRs have been, or not the emissions, when the APRs have been down. But when the ecosystem is booming again, all of the structures are built into that contract to incentivize people to want to be in it, to want to compete with each other. The gamification, there's no reason why they won't want to get back in. The only reason that it's been going down is because people feel the way that this person writing this question does. They're trying to compete with themselves and each other to ROI because they all feel like everyone else is doing that and they better get their money out before they all kill it together. And we're not going to let that happen. We have these plans for sustainability because we're a protocol that lasts. We're not those short-term thinkers. We are long-term thinkers. We're innovators. We're people that build sustainable protocols. And we're building Fusion because we don't ever again want someone to get stuck in a situation where they invest money and then someone else kills a protocol with their short-term thinking. We don't want that ever again to be the situation. And that's why we've been working so hard to build Fusion for all of you who are long-term thinkers, who care about this protocol, and who want to earn really great passive income. You know, with all of this EMP and eShare and EMP ETH-LP that you've been accumulating for all of these months or even years. And so short-term thinking and negativity doesn't pay off. Just remember that the reason that we've chosen to do things the way that we have is because we see Detonator as a contract that's going to live on. We are not trying to kill it. And if we were to keep it the way that it is, it will die. And that's kind of the simple answer. We
No,
want
I
to
love
keep
it.
it around. We want to see it thriving again. And we do want to see everyone have the ability to earn their 365. And we believe it's possible.
Yeah, 100% LA. And again, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but everything you said is spot on. You know, all of that included with a full system recovery and a bull market. Again, remember, we launched Detonator at the tail end of a bull market. And obviously, you know, we didn't think this bear would be as brutal as it has been. But, you know, another year of bull and good vibes. I mean, we could see new all-time highs even in the Detonator contract. So, you know, we can't predict the future. We can only build to facilitate the most sustainable contract and product humanly possible. And again, these are games. We have said literally from day one, please be my guest and go through, you know, all the 600 AMAs that we've done over the last 2 years. In every single discussion about Detonator, we reiterated that they are games. They're not annuities. They're not financial instruments. They are games. And so, again, I know a lot of you, you know, may have over-invested in Detonator or Detonator-style contracts. We are sad to hear that, but we're doing everything we can, you know, to salvage those funds. And again, there is nothing inherently flawed with the contract. But like LA said, if you have a a beautiful fruit tree and you all you do is eat the fruit and you never water it, you never give it sunlight, then no matter how amazing the contract or fruit tree is, it will die. So just keep that in mind for the future. And again, even now there's people speculating by going into the contracts and winning the lottery and doing the largest deposit of the day, hoping that when Fusion does launch, they're actually able to build their position in Fusion even more so through DOS contracts than if they were to just sacrifice directly. So there is a lot of game theory and speculation even with that alone. So yeah. All right. I think again, LA. Anything you want to add? I think we covered it.
No, I do see a hand up from OMC though, so we'll let him on.
All right. Long time no talk. Old man Crypto, how are you, brother? You there? Oh, there.
How
Oh,
about now?
there he is. Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
How are you, AJ?
Good,
And
brother.
everyone else? AJ, I have a question on Sparkler.
Yes, sir.
And I hope the question is clear. But you've talked about recently how volume has been steadily increasing, Back, several weeks ago, we had days where the returns were huge compared to the returns of today.
For sure.
So how, with volume increasing, are we getting lesser returns? So what I'm trying to figure out is what part of the system makes those days massive. What's the difference between a massive day and a day like today where you say the volume is good but the rewards are less? Is that
Yeah,
clear?
absolutely, old man. So, OMC, absolutely. So there's a lot that goes into this answer because again, there's a ton of different variables. But I'll give you the short answer first. The number one factor in those massive payout days is actually the farm entry and exit fees. So those days that you're referring to, again, there was a few days last week and the week before that we had over a 1% return in one day. And that was because some whales, or not even whales, but just more people were entering and exiting the farms. And that entry and exit fee, that goes right to Sparkler immediately and pays out. So that's the short answer. The long answer is, obviously the more volume, the more fees, but you also have to combat dilution as well. So the reason why we've seen APR staying about the same, if not even going down a little bit, is most likely because even though we're doing more volume, you're actually being diluted a bit because more people are going into Sparkler and competing for the ownership. Now, that's why from all along we've said it's really important to have a farm position because if you have a farm position, you can constantly feed Sparkler your Spark, and that will really help combat the dilution as well. So those are just some variables. Again, the price of Spark also has to do with that. The APR was a lot higher a few weeks ago because Pulse and Spark was higher in price. Obviously, we've seen it pull back a little bit, and now the APR is a bit down. But we should definitely see APR settle around this area again. 50 to 60 percent APR on the low side, and much higher on the high side, especially when vaults are here. I mean, that could double or triple volume within a few weeks. So, does that help, OMC? I don't know. I'm happy to answer anything else that you had and want to clarify, but
No, that was good. I kind of had guessed that was going to be the answer, but I just wanted to hear it from you, whether it's where it would, the fees from the farms come in and out.
for
So
sure.
was the big. All right. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, brother, no
AJ,
doubt. Yeah.
add a little bit to that as well.
Yeah, like please, absolutely.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, also don't forget that we had like a good solid like week and a half where PLS was just like absolutely on fire and the whole Pulse chain ecosystem was just going nuts like day after day after day. And we had a good handful of days where our volume on our decks was literally like a million, 1.1 we even hit. I was screenshotting it. It was like 700,000 was our all-time high. And then the next day it was like in the 800s. Then it was in the 900s. Then it was a million. And it was a million again the next day. Then we hit 1.1. And it was all during that time when Pulse Chain was going absolutely nuts. And um, I wanted to mention that had a big part to do with it as well, because when the token on the chain is going nuts, like a lot of people want to bridge back and forth. They want to make a lot of swaps. They are interested in getting in. Like I saw a lot of tweets that week where people were talking about getting into Pulse, for the first time, or getting back into Pulse with large amounts, like influencers talking about it, or retweeting other people's posts. And all of that makes a big difference. So when PLS is going absolutely nuts and our DEX has over $1 million of volume day after day after day, that makes a huge difference in Sparkler as well.
Yeah, great points, LA. And really, too, I don't know if he's in the audience right now, but maybe I can get him to send me the spreadsheet. Our friend Kirk, a lot of you might remember Kirk from Speakeasy, and his endeavors. Shout out to you, Kirk. But he had a great spreadsheet in his community where it actually detailed the average percentage that Sparkler produced. And I mean, if you count literally from day one, we're still looking at, I believe his number was about 71%, or 0.71% rather, daily. And so, if you got in early and staked for the long run, I was looking at some of the original stakes the other day too. People have already 10x'd on their Sparkler stakes if you were early, and even if you aren't early, like I mentioned a little bit ago on the AMA today, we're looking at about 10%, bare minimum 10% a month in returns, and so within 10 months. And again, less if everything happens like we think it will, like LA said, the volume goes up, PLS price goes up, we have more and more adoption, that will dramatically reduce your ROI. And then you have 9.5 years or 9 years to earn every single day from Sparkler in real yield. Again, has nothing to do with the inflation of Spark, its actual fees from the protocol. So, those are just some hard numbers. Again, I like that numbers don't lie, and the fact that you could just sell Spark right now and get a profit is great. But if you have a long-term mindset and put that Spark into Sparkler, you can literally feed yourself, for years to come. So I hope that resonates well with all of you. And it's also a compounding effect that the less selling pressure on Spark, again, if we all row in the same direction, by putting it into Sparkler, that's less selling pressure on Spark, which also increases all the APRs everywhere in Sparkler and the farms. Again, it's a self-healing and self-fulfilling mechanism that rewards everybody in the ecosystem. The sad part is that people still want to sell, but because of our deep liquidity, it's okay. We can handle the volume and the volatility of Spark, and moving forward with Vault and the price appreciation of Pulse itself, that economic energy will outweigh any potential dumping. So yeah, really, again, hopefully that helps sum it up.
Awesome. I think that wraps things up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, OMC. Awesome, brother. You're breaking up a little bit. But yeah, anything else, OMC?
Yeah, as long as it's a short AMA, AJ, I won't keep you on too long. But I do have one question that's been
for sure.
Another question that's been bugging me. This one is about L1X and L1 DEX, and the changes that L1X has just come out with, where we're sort of the early investors have to tie up their tokens with them for a certain amount of time. How is that going to affect L1 DEX? Because I was originally planning on staking those tokens into L1 DEX. So, isn't that going to hurt your liquidity issues in the DEX? And how are you going to make up for that?
Yeah, no doubt. So again, a great question. OMC, again, I appreciate you coming on and asking the hard questions. So yeah, I mean that is definitely a concern that we had as well. We are working with the foundation right now to resolve that. I think we have some solutions. The short answer, again, is when the chain goes live, even if you're in part of Xperks, you still get your original vested tokens starting and your bonus tokens up front. Now, obviously, if you're 24 months vested, that's a fraction of the L1X that you are owed. But at least it's something that can go into the liquidity. And we have some other plans. Again, I don't really want to talk about it publicly yet because we haven't solidified it with the foundation. But there are plans of some seed liquidity through market makers that will help us at least get started, and then there will be a bonding drive or liquidity drive where we're not necessarily raising more funds, but we will allow you to buy L1X to be able to go into those pools and farms and earn the APR. So there will be options for everybody, but there are still some loose ends that we're trying to really solidify in terms of, again, like you said, making sure that DEX has enough liquidity, without adding to sell pressure or circumventing the staking or vesting requirements. So I know that's kind of vague, but yeah, I mean it does suck that the investors are not going to have access to those tokens. But if you are in the public sale, you will be able to again have access to your tokens after the cliff. All of those can go into the DEX. And it's even more of a reason that, we're going to have a staged rollout as well. So, we're hoping to scale when they are able to announce, centralized listings. There's more interest within L1X, then we'll be able to have more tokens unlocked from everybody's vesting schedules to be able to go into the pools, the balancer pools. So, does that help, OMC? Again, I know probably not as specific as you would like, but maybe it gives you a little bit more of an idea.
No, that's good for now. Thanks, AJ.
All right, awesome. So yeah, again, for those that don't know, L1X is going through a new testnet round, and they have pushed some additional vesting. It does suck, but in terms of the health of the token long term, or coin rather long term, I do think that's bullish. And I'd rather have a small amount of a healthy price than a large amount of a complete, zero price. So just again, keep that in mind and try to be as positive as you can be. But we are working through all those scenarios now. Cool. All right. Anything you want to add to that, LA?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for coming on, Ollie.
All right. All right, I think that's it then. We'll wrap it up again. Try to keep it a little short and sweet tonight. If there are any additional questions, please feel free to join our Discord. We have a specific channel on Discord for AMA questions, or you can join through voice chat, like we had today, on Telegram, on the EMP Telegram. So, all right, LA, any final words as we sign off? Go ahead.
Thank you for joining, everyone. We always look forward to seeing all you guys, and we will be back for another one on Thursday.
All right, there you have it. My co-host with the most. Oh, go ahead. Yep, more.
And meantime, watch out for the posts with our AMA schedule, because we've got another few exciting ones coming up this week.
Yes, all right, perfect. So, again, I was just saying, my co-host with the most, and fellow team member LA, shout out to you, LA. Thanks for always killing it and helping us be successful. We have a great lineup this week of even more AMAs. Some are with some great influencers we haven't seen in a while, so that's exciting. And yeah, also some major updates regarding the vaults. Again, we're not able to give a timeline, but we're hoping very, very soon, sooner than you may even think. So keep an eye out for the vault contracts to go live, and we'll have a whole AMA and white paper update for how to get involved in the vaults. So, all right, that'll do it. Appreciate all of you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, we do this every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We will see you on Thursday. Good night, good day. See you then.